Hey guys, so today I'm doing a video that is very personal to me, and it's something that I've never really talked openly about on my YouTube channel or even on Tumblr. I've mentioned it in passing, but I've never really talked openly about it. But I was thinking last night after I got a question from a viewer. She asked me how I dealt with my social anxiety, and I was diagnosed when I was 14 years old. It was 2 years ago, so yeah, when I was 14 years old, I'm 16 now, and yes, I was diagnosed by a professional. I always kind of held off on doing a video about this because I know people from my real life watch my videos, and I'm not really open. Well, actually, I am kind of open with them, but I don't like go up to someone and say, hey, I have social anxiety. It's not something I really bring up often. I've never really talked about it on YouTube because I never thought it was like a topic that was worth discussing. But then last night I was on Twitter right before I went to bed, and I got a tweet from a girl asking me how I deal with my social anxiety, and it made me realize that when I was going through this and when mine was very prevalent, I didn't really have that many people to talk to because I was ashamed of the fact that I had it. What is social anxiety? Okay, so I'm just going to read you the definition. I have my computer here, and so you guys can kind of know what it is if you don't know already. Social anxiety is anxiety about social situations, interactions with others, and being evaluated or scrutinized by other people. The difference between social anxiety and normal apprehension of social situations is that social anxiety involves an intense feeling of fear in social situations, and especially situations that are unfamiliar. The feeling of fear is so great that in these types of situations, one may be so worried that they feel anxious just thinking about them and will go to great lengths to avoid them. That was me 2 years ago. I was not happy. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't feel good about the way I looked. Didn't feel good inside. Overall, it's just a really bad thing. And I think that the way I felt about myself was something that contributed to my social anxiety. So for so many years, I hated meeting new people, going out, doing just normal stuff that shouldn't be an issue for most people, I guess, like my age. And for the longest time, I avoided these social situations. I can't tell you how, well, basically for the entire grade 9 year, so that was 2 years ago, I'm in grade 11 now. For my entire grade 9 year, or for, I'd say 90% of it, every single lunch hour, I couldn't even imagine going into the cafeteria during lunch because of how crowded it was and how many people were there and how many people were there that I didn't know. So I would go to the library every single lunch hour, and I would just sit there basically because all my friends who I interacted with outside of lunchtime, they didn't go to the library. They went and had fun at lunch, and ironically enough, lunch is my favorite part of the day now. But when I was in grade 9, I would go to the library every single day to avoid the social and I guess like the crowded aspects of the cafeteria. For me, social anxiety, it was the fear of being with tons of people I didn't know, feeling kind of insignificant, feeling just scared to go to places with people, scared to go to parties, scared to go to all these things. For the longest time, I would create excuses as to why I couldn't go to people's parties. And looking back, like, those could have been some great memories, and I really missed out on it. And honestly, until last year, grade 10, I feel like my complete high school life was a complete waste. This is going to be all over the place video, but anyways, so I would just kind of, when I was in like the peak of my social anxiety stage, I would avoid all these social situations. I would, create excuses, go to the library saying that I had a lot of work to catch up on when really I just sat there and read. I would avoid parties, avoid lunches, avoid this, avoid that, not go to the movies. I really became very introverted. And so in grade 9, so 2 years ago when I was 14 years old, I was taking a psychology class that was offered at my school, and we came to the section about anxiety. And I never thought about having anxiety. I just thought I was shy. I thought it was normal. It wasn't normal. So I started reading about all these types of anxieties, and my guidance counselor was also the psychology teacher. So I went to go talk to her one day, and I went to go talk to her for the first time when I was in the cafeteria with my friend Dia, and she was sitting with me, and she wanted to go get up. It was just me and her were sitting at a table, and she wanted to go get up and go sit with a couple of other friends at a different table, and I physically could not get up and go because I thought that the people at the other table would be like, oh, why is she coming to sit there? And I physically could not get up and go. So I went to the guidance counselor, and that's when my guidance counselor realized that I did have social anxiety disorder. I realized through talking with people and through researching and through learning about this subject, because it is something so near to me, that it's not uncommon and you shouldn't be ashamed that you have it. And so starting that year when I was 14, I started going to therapy weekly. And honestly, my therapist, if you live in the Montreal area and you have this disorder and you want to go to an amazing therapist, I will definitely contact me and I'll give you her name and number, because she honestly changed my life and I credit her so much. There are various ways that you can cure. I mean, you can't really ever cure it completely, because it will always be there, but there's ways that you can overcome it and kind of make it feel and kind of not have those thoughts anymore. Like now I walk into rooms, like when I had it really bad, I wouldn't be able to walk into a cafeteria or anywhere by myself. I always had to have one of my friends. If I needed to go to the bathroom during lunchtime, it would always have to be with one of my friends. Like I never could do stuff by myself. Like I don't need my friend there holding my hand, going to get something. And maybe that comes with age, but for me, the thought of going and doing something myself was so frightening that I would rather probably die of thirst than go by myself to go to water. Currently, I'm a very social person, love going to parties, love interacting with people. So yeah, but going to therapy was so helpful to me. And some things that I find really help me get through my social anxiety, and some things I want to recommend to those of you who are going through it currently, is I took notes, but something I want to tell you guys is that having social anxiety or having a psychological disorder, whether you're bipolar or whether you have depression or whether you have anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, social anxiety, whatever, don't be ashamed to have it. Talk openly about it. I mean, for the longest time I was ashamed I had it. Like, it was like embarrassing for me that I had this. But I think that when I was able to realize that this is nothing to be ashamed about, I didn't choose to have this, I was born with it. I think it's important to not be ashamed of it. You're not the only person with it, and when you're open with it, sometimes, I don't know, but when I started becoming open about it and talking to people about it and saying, like, I have this and this is what I did, it's very helpful to me. Don't be ashamed to get help. Go to your guidance counselor, or if you have a therapist, talk to your therapist about it. Be open about it and get help, because if you don't, like, you will continue living in your shell. And I can't tell you guys how much amazing life is now that I've stopped caring so much about what people think. Like, life really does begin when you stop caring what people think and are just able to live. It's amazing. Something else I want to tell you guys is find someone who you can talk to, like a friend that can help you and support you through these tough situations. For me, my friend Dia was the most supportive type of person that I had during my whole experience. She would help me. Another thing, when I had social anxiety, I couldn't eat in front of others. It was awful. And so my friend Dia would really push me, just one bite, just one thing of this. And honestly, I still remember to this day, my friend AJ, he really helped me. And he didn't realize he was helping me, but he ended up helping me. Because one day, I was sitting with my friend Dia, and he came and sat down. And I was eating, I forgot what I was eating, but whatever I was eating. And so he started talking about typical guy gross stuff. And he's like, oh, you were eating? I'm sorry. He didn't even realize I was eating. Like, that kind of really switched something on in my mind, because I realized people don't care what you're doing. They're so wrapped up in themselves that they don't realize. Well, and that leads me to my third point, is make yourself uncomfortable as often as you can. And I still use this trick all the time, because I feel like when you're stuck in a comfortable, I guess, way of life, you don't put yourself into uncomfortable situations, so you have no room to grow. And so pushing myself into uncomfortable situations and doing it more often made me comfortable in those situations, leading me to become more able to just do regular things. And my therapist actually helped me and put that idea in my head, because for a while I wasn't able to, like, go get up and get a straw if I needed one, or get a napkin if I needed one. So she told me that, like, one of my challenges one week was every day go up by yourself and get a napkin or get a straw or get a Perrier or get something by yourself. Go get up, go get it, and come sit back down. And honestly, I did that, and it was so hard. It was so hard the first couple of times. I remember being so scared and so afraid, but doing that the couple of times really helped me and really pushed me, and it made me comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And I think that's something that really helped me now. And I don't always need someone. Like, don't get me wrong, girls go to the bathroom a lot together. It's just something that we do. And it's not like I'm a solo walking down the hall. Just putting myself in those situations, it made me able to do those uncomfortable things. One thing I just want to say is that the reason I think I was so socially anxious, if that makes sense, is because I was so overweight. And I was very self-conscious about the way I looked all the time, what people thought about me, what people thought about my outfit, what people thought about like my stomach, my legs, whatever. Ironically, or whatever word would fit in that sentence, but when I started losing weight, that was in grade 9, and when I started getting help for my social anxiety, that was in grade 9 too. So I think that losing weight kind of made me more confident and kind of helped me with my social anxiety. So sometimes you have to look at the root causes of why you feel insecure and why you feel unconfident, is that a word? Why you feel not confident in social situations. For me, it was definitely my weight. Another thing I just want to tell you guys is when you have social anxiety, the worst thing you can do is to avoid. I avoided the cafeteria every single day. Honestly, once I started making myself uncomfortable, it really gave me room to grow. So stop avoiding situations. You just have to put yourself in there, and you're not going to like it. People probably won't even notice you, but you're going to feel like a fish out of water. It's hard, but it gets easier, and you're not going to regret it. You're not going to regret putting yourself into these situations and helping you grow each and every time. One thing that I do want to touch on is that you can actually get medication for your anxiety if you go to a doctor. I didn't. I thought about it for a really long time, and for a while I was just so upset and so annoyed that, that I just kind of wanted the easy way out. I mean, who doesn't want the easy way out? If you can take a pill and your anxiety is going to go away, I mean, who wouldn't want that? But number one, my mom wasn't very supportive of it, and my school guidance counselor wasn't really receptive to the idea. She said, you have to do what's right for you, and if you feel medication's right for you, then go for it. But I think you can work through it. So that's what I did. Anxiety is very, very bad because I'm sure my case was not the worst case ever, but if you do have really bad anxiety and you do want medication, go to a therapist first, try and work through it first, and if you really are unable to, I guess, work through it, then maybe you should consider getting medication by going to your doctor, but I do not take medication for my anxiety. I was looking for natural remedies for anxiety, like herbs and not drugs, not like weed or anything, but like natural remedies. And there's this company called Reliquil that makes natural remedies to anxiety. I don't really know if it works. I have them. I took them a couple times, but I didn't really feel any big difference, so I don't really know if it works or not. If this video can help one person, then that would make it worth it for me. Because I remember what it's like to be the person, I remember what it's like to be the person or be the girl who was so afraid to show her who she really was because she was in social situations. And it's so hard. People don't realize that it's not just normal shyness. It goes above and beyond that. And it's so hard. And I so feel for you guys. And if any of you are dealing with it, please send me a message on YouTube or something, and I'll do my best to reply. Just make it, like, mark it in the subject or something. You will get through it. And it's hard, and you won't think you will be able to, but you will be able to, because I mean, I'm completely different than the person I was when I was 14 years old, and it took a lot of work, but it's worth it. I know I come on camera and sometimes people look at me and they think like, oh, she's so lucky, she has nice things and she's pretty, and I'm not saying that I'm pretty. Well, I mean, I don't think I'm ugly, but like, I get like a lot of comments like, oh, you're so pretty, I wish I was this pretty, and all this stuff, and people don't understand that just because you don't see battle wounds, or just because you don't see everything that goes on, because all you see is this frame and what I just want to show you guys, doesn't mean that it's not there. And you guys didn't know when I was dealing with this on YouTube. It gets easier, and it will get better. I hope that this video helped at least one person, and I'm sorry it was such a disaster and all over the place, and I didn't really plan it out that much. You know, life is so beautiful, and life is worth living, and life is worth working hard for, because I mean, when I was 14 years old, I never would have thought I would have had the life that I have now, and it's just such a change, and I can't even tell you guys how happy I am right now. So I'm gonna get going since this video is already long enough. If you have any advice or tips or anything for people with social anxiety, definitely write them down below. I'd love to read them, even though I mean, social anxiety can never be fully cured, but you can kind of help recover from it. It will always be there, so I'd love reading your tips and everything. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. See you in the next video. Bye.